McTavish has been a
I'm just
healthy
starting
scratch.
up. Sorry, I'm just starting. So
Okay, yeah, I just saw that.
Two ball guys and they're talking about hockey. Two ball guys and they're talking about hockey. Two ball guys and they're talking about hockey. Two ball guys talking about hockey. Two ball guys and they're 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 talking about hockey. And they're bald. And there's hockey. Hockey.
did you know it's our 50th episode?
Is it?
It's our
That
50th
is,
episode.
that is so cool.
That is really cool. I'm
I
like
can't believe
suckers.
we've lasted 50 episodes.
No kidding. Yeah,
Uh,
no,
but
I when I was setting it up today, I noticed that, and actually the little pic that I'm gonna set up for the video has like it's 50 with balloons and stuff. Like it's celebratory.
nice.
Yeah, look at us.
Exactly.
Uh,
Did not expect that.
no, we could they had shut us down years ago.
Uh,
Okay, so I'm putting the link, and there we go. We're live, and we might have a fan or two watching.
I'm pretty sure we have one for sure.
Of course.
Of course, we have one. Right,
Feeling
Zach?
the love. So
It's been a
interesting.
while.
It's been a while. I'm going to let you start off with your huge acquisition and
Well,
your big trade acquiring the guy that any Senators fan would want to have.
let me pull it up here. Can you give me
I
if
sure
you want to pull
can.
it up? You want to pull it up?
Oh, you just want the Stutzla
Just
trade?
just just the trades. Well, it's
Okay.
the Zarovsky and Stutzla trade.
Yeah, I'll call up your trades and you can talk about them.
Yeah.
There we go. And there we go. Oops, I almost posted up my draft board. I'm gonna have to close that. So I don't let anybody see any information they shouldn't be looking at.
Well, I won't be drafting this year. So it started with I've been looking at the Alexander Zarovsky all season long, and
No, that's not true. You were thinking about him last year.
exactly. And Nashville, like I thought when Montreal got him with the 34th pick, I thought I had a shot at him at pick 37, and Nashville and drafted him at pick 30. So all season long, I was trying to figure out a way to get him. So finally, I said, you know what? It's time that I traded my first round pick, but I wanted to have some protection around it. So finally, Nashville and I made a deal that I'd give him my first round pick, and at the time, I think I was like fourth or fifth from the bottom. So I wanted to have top two protected. And then I got Zorowski and Edmonton's third in this year's draft for Zorowski, which I'm extremely excited to have. He finished regular season with 42 points in a KHL, and that matches
Let me call
uh,
up his hockey DB here.
Kaprizov's points point total as an 18-year-old or 19-year-old. So under 20. So extremely happy with the season he's had. Uh,
That's
so
phenomenal because two things. Number one, in the KHL, they don't play the kids.
no,
And number two, it's much more defensive system in the
yes,
KHL.
yeah. So really happy with that acquisition. And then and I'm hope he's got one more year on his contract to in the KHL. So I'm hoping he's back. The Montreal signs him this year. We'll see. But then I was looking again, what can I do to help my team? And I said, you know what? I'll give Calgary a call about Stützle. I had asked him earlier this year, so I sent him an offer, and he came back and he said, the only way I'm giving, well, he goes, first of all, again, like the guy I want is not in the offer. I said, well, I figured that you'd want him, but I'm not just gonna offer him up right away. So then he asked for Iginla, Nadeau, Mertka, and my first. But because I had just traded my first for Zarovsky, and it was top two protected, we came up with a deal where if he gets the top two portion of my pick this year, and if he doesn't get it this year, he gets my first next year unprotected. But if he wins a lottery, or if I win a lottery, he gets my pick as a first or second this year. I get the lowest of the Calgary or Boston first. So if Calgary's 9th, Boston's 10th, I get the Boston 10th pick. And because I was doing that, I gave him a second round pick this year. Gave him my second this year. So I got Tim Stützle.
You got Tim Stützle.
Been on fire since I acquired him.
Oh, yes. I haven't. I looked at one of your games and he didn't score, and you won the game.
No, not for me, for the Ottawa Center. He hasn't done much. He hasn't done much since I acquired him.
Well, let's see. He's got 6 points in 12 games.
That's nothing. He should be getting
a point per game
in 12 games. Yeah, he should be getting more than a point per game.
Yeah.
So, but he doesn't have a lot to play with right now. And this doesn't mean that I'm going to trade all my assets to be able to win now. I'm still playing a long game. It's just I'm getting Stützle for the next 8 years. And I've got Zarovsky. It's like I consider, to me, if Zarovsky was going in the draft this year, he would be a top 10 pick. So I figure I've got Zarovsky, who's a top end prospect for me, and Stützle, who I've got for the next 8 years to grow with the rest of my team. I'm still going to try to acquire a guy here or there, but I got Tim Stützle.
Like Sam Malinsky.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your big trade. And for everyone to check out the Ottawa Senators' big trade. We traded Martin Jones for a 6th round pick. That's it.
You just got the money off your books.
No, it wasn't even money. It was just an asset. So.
Okay.
And he's played all right for Toronto. Now, he played him against me yesterday, and my team spanked him, and I feel actually kind of bad about that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, 6th round pick. He didn't give up a lot to get a backup goalie either. So
no. And at that point, you don't want, like, it's a backup goalie. You don't want to have to give up the farm.
Yeah, no. And so there you go. We're coming into the last stretch of the season here. And things are getting interesting.
12, 13 games left.
Let's call up the standings here. That'll be a better view. And we'll go with the wild card version. And Montreal, Ottawa, Buffalo are pretty solidly in the playoffs.
I just want to mention, I think that's what I had for my power ranking back in November or December.
Oh, in November? Maybe. But in the preseason, you and your son had Boston in here and not Ottawa.
I think that's the preseason. It was a preseason. Yeah. Boston, majored. I thought that Nathan was going to pull another miracle. He didn't. He's all out of miracles right now.
He's all out of miracles. He is all out for now. Maybe he's
Yeah.
reloading his miracle hat.
Yeah. So,
Um,
and on Thursday night, the Canadians beat the Islanders. So Eric beat Flack.
who had 4 points in that game? Who had 4 points in
No,
that
no, no.
game?
That was last night.
Oh, okay.
In the DCHL, Eric beat Flax.
Yes. I was texting with Flax
Hmm.
earlier today about, well, not about that, but the conversation came up because I shut Flax out the day before, or the game before. So he's had 2 games in a row without a goal.
And
Kucherov and Crosby and Kachuk and all his dynamos are pointless in 2 games.
The Islanders are taking a nosedive, are they? They're going to lose in the first round to the Devils.
Yep.
Wow.
Could be. So you're comfortable with those 3 teams being in the playoffs: Montreal, Ottawa, and Buffalo?
Yes. To me, that's a done deal. Those guys are going to be there.
Okay.
There's no way Detroit or Toronto catches up with those 3 teams.
So then Philly, Isles, and Devils in the Pacific, or not Pacific, sorry, the Metro.
Yep. Carolina could, they're 1 point behind the Devils.
But we're just talking getting a playoff spot at this point.
I think I'd be shocked if Toronto caught Detroit.
Yeah.
Like Detroit's 9-1. They're on an 8-game winning streak. Like,
well, let's hope that ends on Tuesday night.
Toronto's 3-5-2.
Yeah, they're picking the wrong time of year to turn into a tailspin.
I think in the East, the 8 teams are there. I'd be shocked if Toronto. There's no way the Rangers or the Lightnings catch up to Detroit, and I don't think Toronto does.
Well, 8 points back is enormous. Yeah, Detroit. Well, and even if Detroit cools off, which I would expect they would, it's still a big gap. Like Toronto has to absolutely, in their final 11 games, has to go like 9-2 to have a chance. And well, let's look at what their schedule is.
But it's not just the 9-2 for Toronto. Is Detroit has to go 6-5.
Yeah. Well, they have Boston, which is nice. They have the Rangers, which is nice. They have St. Louis, Anaheim. San Jose's been dropping games. You know what? Look at the schedule.
Has an easy schedule.
They could actually go 9-2 here and make it interesting.
Yeah.
Let's look at Detroit.
Yeah, Toronto does have an easy schedule.
Let's look at Detroit's schedule. Maybe it's much harder. I know they play Ottawa this week. Oh, it is harder because they've got Ottawa, Buffalo, Philly. Then they have Philly twice, Minnesota. Philly a third
Philly
time.
Again.
New Jersey.
Ooh.
Oh.
Good thing.
It could get interesting.
Wow.
That is.
I didn't look at the
neither
schedule.
did I. Mark, buddy, you have I feel like the meme. You mean I have a chance? I think you do. I think Toronto has a chance. Back.
You mean
yes.
there's a chance.
There is definitely a chance. Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Let's look at
the West.
The West.
I think the West is basically 3 teams for 2 spots. Okay. I mean, Dallas Mini and Chicago are pretty much set. And and Utah as well.
Yeah.
Vancouver's in, Vegas is in, and then it's Seattle at 7. Look at the difference of 12 points. Seattle 78, San Jose 77, and Winnipeg 77.
Can I jump in here for a second?
Sure.
Let's look at the standings right now. And isn't it like top 6 heavy in the West, and then the rest of them are like
Oh, you want to
go
see
by
the league
conference. Go by
standings?
conference.
Oh, by conference? Okay.
Yeah.
It's 2 teams in the Pacific, and then
Teams
a
in the
whole bunch
Pacific,
of
and then 2 in the Central, and then you have Chicago, Utah that are, just as good. But after the top 6 in the West, Seattle,
it's a
San
big
Jose, Winnipeg, Colorado, Anaheim, Calgary, Edmonton, Nashville, LA, St. Louis. It's looks like the tide has turned. The East is the stronger conference now, and the West is rebuilding.
well, and I would even say the Atlantic is either the top or the second top division. And next year, I suspect it will be in the top division. But yeah, the Pacific is.
Yeah.
I was giving Zach a hard time because it's if he wouldn't be in the playoffs if he was in the Atlantic Division.
No, he'd just be ahead of
Toronto.
Toronto and 4 points behind Detroit.
And he's not, I wouldn't say comfortably in the playoffs, but because it's 3 teams, literally 3 teams battling out for 2 spots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, fortunately, one of those, Seattle or San Jose, is automatically in. It's really Winnipeg that's really trying to find a way in.
Yeah. Can we look at their schedule?
Sure. We'll go Seattle first. Okay. Oh, he's got Florida.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
Florida's on a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah. Well, he's got Timmy Stew, or Jimmy Stew, as we like to say in Ottawa.
Stew.
So he's got Buffalo. Who are the good teams? Utah. He's got a big game against Winnipeg in Winnipeg. Chicago,
Minnesota,
Vegas. And then Vegas. Like, there's some tough games there.
Okay.
And we'll go to Winnipeg next. Let's do San Jose. Stay with the Pacific. Okay. Oh, Nashville. There's a nice way to start.
Nashville,
St. Louis, Columbus,
St. Louis, Anaheim,
Toronto, Nashville.
Oof.
This is a much easier schedule than what Seattle has.
Edmonton, Anaheim.
Ooh, that could be a very interesting game on the last day of the season.
So
San Jose versus the Jets.
3, 4, no, 4. Let's say.
How many hard games does he have left? Is that what you're?
I want to say 5.
Hard ones or easy ones?
5 hard ones.
Okay, Chicago's really the first hard one, right?
Well, I gave Toronto in there because they're trying to make the playoffs.
Okay, so 2. And then Vancouver is 3. Chicago is 4. Yeah, Winnipeg would be 5.
5 and 4 if you don't consider Toronto a hard game. But Toronto's trying to make the playoffs, so.
Yep.
Compared to Seattle, that they have a much tougher schedule.
Who, Seattle does?
Oh, yes.
Well, they have 3 against. Let's see here. Let's do Seattle again. We'll count it up. The hard games. They have Buffalo, Utah, Chicago, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Vegas twice. Yeah, that's like 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, it's 6 games. 6 tough games. And Colorado is not a gimme, but
No.
it's not as tough.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay and Florida are not gimmies either.
No, not the way they're playing.
So
So there's okay. So let's go to Winnipeg.
yeah.
Now we know Winnipeg has 2 against San Jose. Okay, Vegas, that's a hard one. Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, and Philly,
Vegas again,
Vegas, Utah, and San Jose. So Winnipeg might have the hardest schedule of the 3 of them.
And we didn't consider Colorado is like right there with Winnipeg. They're 4
And
points
he's got
behind
a back to
Winnipeg.
back. He's got a back to back with them.
So he's got out of his 13 games left, or 12? No, 13 games. Out of his 13 games left, he's got 9 or 10 that are going to be tough.
Yep. And I will say this because in the NHL, the Ottawa Senators had the hardest schedule in the back half of the season when people were counting them out, saying
Yep.
they're not going to make it because they had the hardest schedule. And my argument was that's exactly what they need in order to get back in, is the hardest schedule. So maybe this is what Winnipeg needs. But, I mean, it's definitely the hardest. They might be the odd. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the odd team looking out. And Seattle would get their first ever sniff at postseason hockey.
Yeah, I think I'll predict that Seattle is going to be at least in the playoffs. And
Well,
Winnipeg's not going to make
they have a 67% chance, probably higher than that.
But with that schedule, I don't like that schedule for Winnipeg at all.
No. Well, not Vegas. They got Vegas twice, is it?
Yep, Vegas now, and then Vegas at last week of the season.
So that's going to be rough. Well, and Utah, what a like finish!
They finished Philly, Vegas, Utah, and San Jose.
That's not ideal.
No. And Vegas and Utah are back-to-back games.
And the thing I've noticed with Winnipeg all year is they really haven't had that huge run. Like they haven't had that, like Detroit has that 8-game win streak right now. Has Winnipeg had a big run like that this year?
I don't remember.
They've been consistent. One. Well, here's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 4-gamer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rooting for you, Randy, but I don't know that it'll happen, buddy.
Not this year.
Not this year. Does he still have his first round pick? I would suspect he does, yes. So he still has his. Now, I did an interesting bit of research this week and noticed that 8 teams, now this was the day I did it, I don't know if it's still the case, but 8 teams that were in the playoffs, were not in the playoffs, do not have their first round pick. You are one of them, my friend, but you got Tim Stützle out of it, so. You got Zurovsky out of it, but
Stützle's
in a roundabout way. In a roundabout way, Stützle's involved.
Yeah.
So this is the one thing that I've never understood about this league is how people so easily trade their first round picks away.
So I think Washington has traded it away this year, or does he still have it?
Or did he? It
was last year. Yeah, he has Tampa Bay's. He has Tampa Bay's and his home.
Yeah. Okay, Pittsburgh has theirs. I'm going to go by memory here.
Yeah.
Washington has theirs. Boston obviously does not have theirs. You don't have yours.
No.
Columbus has his. Tampa Bay doesn't have his. That was part of the
Pasternak trade.
yeah,
Pasternak and Sam Bennett.
yeah.
To me, if you're gonna get a superstar like
It's worth
Pasternak,
it. I
and
don't.
yeah,
The Rangers don't
Rangers,
have theirs. I'm pretty sure it was part of the Elmark trade, was it? Let's look and see that they don't have it. They have
no, they have
Dallas's,
Dallas. Don't have
so they
theirs
do
for the
have.
next couple of years.
Yeah, is it LA that has theirs? I think LA has a number of them.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yes, LA has it. I think it was part of the Elmark trade. So there we
Yeah,
go.
first round pick in 2026, 2027, and Adam Fox and Linus Olmark. You know
Yeah.
what? Getting an all-star defenseman, you got to pay the price.
Yeah. No, I don't have. I actually think the Rangers have done a good job.
Yeah.
And I think that they were shortchanged a little bit this year because I still like their team better than Detroit, who's sitting in a playoff spot. Okay, so Winnipeg has theirs. Colorado, I don't think Colorado has theirs. Pretty sure they don't. They do not.
No,
They
not
have
for
no
next
pick
2
until the
years.
third, and no pick until the third round.
Okay.
Anaheim, I don't think Anaheim does. Was that part of the Trevor Zegras trade? I think it might have been part of the Trevor Zegras trade. I could look this up. Where is it? Where is your first round pick?
Right there. Yeah, Trevor Zegras.
Trevor Zegras. I was right. Okay. Calgary has a bunch of them now. Theirs has been, it's protected.
Yeah, because of the deal with me.
Okay.
So
Got it.
my first should be showing there for Calgary.
Okay. Well, it's
2027.
showing at Nashville, I would assume.
No, my first in 2027 should be shown, but it's probably showing at Nashville with an asterisk.
Yeah. Okay. And Edmonton doesn't have theirs, I don't think. I think they traded theirs. Yeah. These are teams that can win the lottery that are.
But Edmonton got Austin Matthews.
Fair enough.
So, like, if you like, I truly believe if you're gonna win, you need stars.
But look at this. We tease Seattle for having 18 picks in the
Fifth round.
in the fifth round. This is a lot of picks early on. Now I'm willing to bet that he's going to try to move a lot of these for moving up in the draft.
Picks in the first 3 rounds.
So basically, in the first 5 rounds, it's Nashville and Seattle. Well,
and St. Louis. Check out St. Louis. I think he's got 6 first round picks.
No, he has a bunch as well.
Yeah, 6 first round picks, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 4 fourth.
It's my second round pick. How did he get my second round pick?
Probably
Had to be something with Seattle.
You traded with the Seattle, and Seattle traded him.
Actually, I think the second round pick would have come from LA because I traded it in the Jonas Brodin trade.
So, but look at St. Louis. They have their own and Edmonton's. No, it's Nashville. That it could end up with.
Well, St. Louis, like Edmonton can win the draft lottery and St. Louis. There's 2 high picks.
Nashville could have all of their picks that they own in the lottery if San Jose doesn't make the playoffs.
Wow.
So 5 picks in the top 16 for Nashville.
You gotta like your odds there, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, I have to figure out what's going to happen with the NHL draft lottery. If Ottawa doesn't make it in the NHL, it does change the odds. And I have to figure out, I think we're just going to have to use last year's odds.
Oh, if they don't make the
Because Ottawa in the NHL is picking 32 no matter what.
yeah.
The draft lottery is going to be the same, except Ottawa would be removed, whatever place Ottawa gets.
Yeah.
So I need to see how that exactly breaks down, whether they take out the number of ping pong balls that Ottawa would have, for example.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, then in our draft lottery, I have to make sure that whatever place that is gets their ping pong balls into the draft lottery. So, but I need to know exactly what the percentages are, and if I can't find out, I'll have to go by last year's percentages because presumably it would be the same.
Yeah.
So,
but let's go over the reason why Ottawa is picking 32nd.
sure.
So
because Vegas Golden Knights are a bunch of whiny crybabies who can't look up their own trade stuff like they're supposed to.
But from what I heard through a podcast or radio or something like that, Pierre Dorion was asked outright during the trade call, has Dadonov submitted a trade list, a list of top 10-team list, like they're supposed to, and he said no.
Okay, if that happened like that, then damn, that guy should never be allowed to work in the NHL again.
So,
and I mean that.
That's what
and
I
Ottawa
heard.
should be punished for that.
But again, he, as soon as they found out, he quit because they were going to fire him. They have a new ownership, total new management. And my point was, the reason that you did that is you're trying to punish the owner and the team. When Andlauer was for a year negotiating to buy the team, the NHL never once said to Andlauer, you are under investigation for
he did know that. He did know that, but they didn't tell him that they were going to take the first round pick off.
No. They never told him that he was under investigation. He always said it. You've never told me the team was under investigation for that. And the sisters never said that the team was under investigation for that.
The sisters probably didn't know.
They never told him about the Shane Pinto investigation for the gambling thing. And I'm not sure if they told him about the issues with the Team Canada Junior and Formanton.
This is where we probably know too much, because the original offer that Andlauer had for the Sens was $800 million, and there was an offer from Snoop Dogg and his group that was $1 billion, but they didn't trust Snoop Dogg's bid as much as they trusted Andlauer's, so they had to talk Andlauer up $100 million. And they're not going to talk him up $100 million and say, "Oh, and by the way, we're taking away your first round pick."
Yeah. So
they didn't say any, like, they intentionally withheld that. And I think Andlauer behind the scenes basically has said, "Look, we've got a lawsuit here that we can make very public, or you can make our first round pick come back."
Yeah.
Which is why the league came back.
Exactly. So I'm glad they did, and I'm glad, like, I'm okay with the Sens picking 32nd and the fact that they can't trade their pick, because there has to be punishment for what Dorion did.
Well, and I think Dorion should be banned from working in this league again. And the league won't ever do that because they only ever hire people that are within the club.
So to me, he can't be a GM ever again. can be a scout, but never a GM again.
Yeah, no, he's got to be done.
Yeah.
You can't trust him.
No. So, but I'm glad they got the pick back, because if they didn't, I think you mentioned it before, that the Senators would have been punished more harshly for Dorion lying during the trade call than the Chicago Blackhawks got punished for keeping a molester,
Sexual predator.
predator
Protected.
employed, protected him, and then they recommended him to go work at a college with young men, young boys.
And you add in that Utah, but it was when they were Arizona or Phoenix. I think it was Arizona. The Coyotes had they lost a first and a second because they would bring in prospects and they would have them go in the weight room.
Yeah.
And you weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So they punished them for a first and a second round pick. Covering up a sexual predator, well, that cost your club $4 million, but nothing else, because that's what the punishment was. I think it was $4 million.
I thought it was 2, but
to the owner,
4, either way.
Okay, a substantial amount of money to you or I, but I would argue to the GM or owner of the Chicago Blackhawks, it was pittance.
Yep.
They did nothing to hurt the organization.
No.
Who covered up and protected, and like you said, helped him get another job because it came out at an inconvenient time, Sean. It was during the playoffs.
Yes, they were in the finals.
Well, what do you expect them to do? Like deal with something when it would look bad on them when the playoffs are going on?
The players need to be able to concentrate on the game.
And you'll notice that after the playoffs were over, it never came out then either. Like
no, it took like 2 or 3 years.
It took a reporter to bring it out.
I think it was like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
After.
It came out either during COVID or just after COVID.
Yeah.
Like
so
it was
I think it might have been 10 years.
Insane that these people would find teams a first round pick for what they did and not find someone that is it is criminal what they did.
Yep.
It was criminal. So yeah, well, I can rant on that for days. So I am glad the NHL gave them back, especially after the Pavel Datsyuk. That's basically what happened with Pavel Datsyuk back in 2012, was it, somewhere around there, when New Jersey signed Datsyuk to a contract the league didn't like. It was within the rules, but
no, it wasn't that.
Not within the spirit of the rules.
It was Kovalchuk. Was
it Kovalchuk?
Yeah.
Okay, I know it was a Russian.
With New Jersey.
Yeah.
17-year contract. And I think the last 5 years he was getting like $1 million or less.
Yeah. Well, and it was all just designed to circumvent the way the collective bargaining agreement worked.
So actually, the Blackhawks, it happened in 2010. Okay. And it came out in 2021.
Yeah, during COVID or just at the end of COVID or whatever.
So 11 years after you covered it up.
Isn't that sick and disgusting? Like that they would.
It is.
And the league doesn't take away any draft picks from them for it.
Yeah.
And people lost their jobs. And I'm air quoting that because they're all back in hockey now.
Every single one of them. So.
Yeah.
Meg, I remember when Philly lost their second overall pick when they drafted Nolan Patrick. So,
Sorry, I want to high five that.
okay, Meg, you missed
Meg,
one
put your hand
important
up by
part
the
of
camera, buddy.
yes. Meg, you missed an important part of it. Is when they drafted Nolan Patrick ahead of Miro Heiskanen at number 3 and Cale Makar at number 4.
Oh God. Well, even
Very
Nico
important
Hischier
part.
at number 2. Like,
And Esher won number 1. They didn't have a shot at him. Esher went 1, Patrick 2.
did he?
Heiskanen
I thought
3.
he still put. Let's to the draft history. We shall go.
2017.
DCHL draft.
No, regular.
Oh, I'm talking about
We can check the DCHL draft.
because Nolan Patrick in the DCHL draft went first overall.
Who had the Avalanche back then?
Was that not Will? I think that was Will.
Oh my God, it couldn't have happened to a been nicer guy.
I'm pretty sure Will made the pick. Like that's. Like, I don't remember if he. I'm pretty sure he made the pick. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Yeah, well, no comment.
No comment. So, but in the NHL, it was.
But look at that top 4, Jeff. Or the 3 of the top 4.
Yeah. Well, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Esher, Makar, Heiskanen.
Wow. I remember liking Makar, but thinking he wasn't going to be like he wouldn't be in NHL as good as he was in the NHL.
Like I liked him, but he is way better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
So
I'm very, Xavier Villeneuve.
yeah.
You know who Xavier. I get this the worry, like if I'm picking it, let's say I'm picking at 20 and he's on the board, do I take him because he's got that kind of skill, but do I not take him because
Here's what. Now that you brought him up, can you bring him up? Bring like Villeneuve.
can I do it right? There.
Okay, so leave it there. Okay. September 29, 2007. So he's a year older than Keaton Vera. A year older. Okay. He weighs 157 pounds. And being a year older as an offensive defenseman who's supposed to be ultra skilled. Okay. So he's not 18 or 17 going on 18. He's 18 going on 19. He's averaging a point a game. And I think, if I remember correctly, he's playing for Blainville. And I think Blainville is the top of the league in the Q.
Oh, of course we're gonna get an ad. The skill on this guy is sick though.
Yeah, skill is amazing. But again, what I keep saying, he's going to be your power play guy. Blainville, yeah. In the conference, they are tied for 4th right now in the league. So they're one of the top teams in the Q. They're the 3rd highest scoring team in the Q, and he only has 37 points in 38 games. That's what scares me. Like, to me, a guy at his age should be getting like points like Zane Parekh. Zane Parekh at least was getting 90 points.
Well, let's look at Cale Makar, D-1. Okay, so you just drafted in 17. So
Yeah.
16,
Yes.
17. This was his draft year, right? Oh, it's the AJHL. You can't read nothing into the AJHL.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
And he is also like he's almost a year older.
Who was the guy in the 2018 draft? Let's look at 2018. There was a defenseman who went. Who am I thinking of here? Quinn Hughes. There we go. Oh, he was US NDP. Damn it.
No, in 2018. Didn't he got drafted in 2018?
Yeah, he's
2018,
University of
he was at
Michigan,
Michigan. See, look, at Michigan, he had 29 points in 37 games.
which is a harder level of competition.
Yep.
And he's a smallish defenseman as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So that's my concern with
oh, there we are. Two handsome guys.
yeah, hey.
Got at least one viewer. Apparently me. Oh, okay. So Xavier Vilda. Anyone else that you're really interested in? Since you're not draft picking anyway, you can talk freely.
Just a minute. Let me pull up.
I'll say this. I don't get the love for Carson Carrolls that teams have. I've started looking at rankings and
Mm-hmm.
like I've seen him in the top 5 and I cannot
Yeah.
I don't know how you take him over Reed, over Smiths, over Verhoff. These are the defensemen.
Yeah. It's well, to me, I like Chase Reed. I don't know if it's his skating stride that bugs me, but tons of skills. I love what he does. I just I'm not sold on him. I think it's because it's his skating stride that bugs me. But he's got tons of potential. It's going to be a defenseman top heavy draft this year, at least in the top 16. When you consider you have Verhoff, Reed, Schmitz, Carrolls, Rudolph, Reinlin, Xavier Villeneuve, Gustafsson, like,
And
and
there's a bunch of right D guys.
some people, um, Greg Button is in love with Yoho Pipa.
Yeah. He has them at 12.
Yeah, he's in love with that guy. So if I had a pick in the top 10, I'd do extra research on him because you want to see what is he talking? Why does he love him so much? You know, 6'3" defenseman, and he's an August birthday, so that
This
means
is
he's
Craig
17
Button's
years old.
list here. I don't mind showing Craig Button's list. But Gavin McKenna at 1, Stenberg at 2. But he has Chase Reed at 3, which I love Chase Reed, but I still think I'd go with Verhoff ahead of him.
Personally, I would, yeah.
But Carson Carroll's at 5. Like I can't I just can't see how he is. Like I'm not seeing it. And I watched him a lot at the World Juniors. I watched him a lot. So like I'm not saying if I'm picking at 20 and he's there, I'm not saying I'm not taking him. But if I'm picking at 5, it's got to be
Uh,
something better than Carson Carroll's.
a couple of very interesting prospects. Tynan Lawrence, who just transferred at Christmas time to BU, and only had 7 points in 18 games. And Oscar Emming, who went to BC after he wanted to go to Kitchener, and the Finnish Federation would not allow him to leave and go there. So finally, they found a loophole, and because he said he was going to school, they couldn't stop him from going to school. So he signed with BC, and he only has 8 points in 19 games, 1 goal in the NCAA. But he's 6'4", 200 pounds, and he's what you could be calling a power forward, a true power forward, and coming up. So those are two guys that, if you just look at the talent, the production is not there right now. You just look at the talent. There's.
What do you think of Malhotra?
Hmm?
What do you think of Caleb Malhotra?
You know what? Much better skill than I saw him live in Ottawa when he came. Much better skill, much better. Well, I knew he'd be a good skater. His dad was an amazing skater, so I knew he'd be a good skater. He's got good size, much better skill than I expected him to be. As a 17-year-old, because he is he's a June 2008 birthday. He's the top center on the top team in the East in the OHL.
Yeah. Well, there's debatably he's the top center available in this draft.
He is.
I say debatable because of people liking Tynan Lawrence.
But Lawrence hasn't produced at all this year. He's done nothing.
No.
As I just
said.
And
he's got to be dropping.
Yeah, so he's dropping. Viggo Bjorg has played well, played amazing at the World Juniors, but they say he's 5'10". I think he's closer to 5'8" than he is 5'10". And Oliver Savanto, out of Finnish, he looked really good at the World Juniors against his own age group, but in the Liga in Finland, he only has 11 points in 48 games. But
I heard someone describe him. I'm trying to remember what video it was, or as like a man in a boy's body. He's just a giant. He's just a giant man.
Yeah, he's. The only question with him is, does he have the hands to be a top 2 center in the NHL? Does he have the scoring ability? Right now, he's not showing it, but he's a 17-year-old playing against men in the men's league. Yeah. So if he played in the junior league in Liga or in the CHL, would he be putting a point a game? Those are questions that you need to ask yourself. And
the one guy I've looked deep into Elton Hermanson, and I'm going to say this: I like him.
Yep.
If he's there, I'm going to have a hard time not taking him. And I don't want a right winger.
Nikita Klepov, he's been producing all year long in Saginaw. Okay, 97 points in 67 games. All year long, he's been producing. And he's behind guys that are not producing, like Savanto and Emming and Lawrence. So, and the other one was Shiloh. 82 points in 63 games. It's hard to, you see a guy that is, against his own age group, he's thriving. And another guy against older competition, harder competition, he's struggling.
Yep.
I
just the only other 2 guys that I'm interested in right now at this point are the Ruck brothers.
Oh,
Do you know
Yes.
do you know who their
Yes.
sister is?
No.
Their sister is an Olympic swimming medalist from Canada,
Oh.
Taylor Ruck. So is when they're playing medicine, they're with Medicine Hat. If I'm going by memory, I'm
Yep. They
90%
are.
sure it's
They
Medicine
are.
Hat. Well, their sister's from BC, so I was like, I didn't know they were related until I looked into it. I'm like, wait, they're from BC, but so's Taylor Ruck. Oh, they're related. That's why.
Oh. So
So the
they're
swimming connection
twins.
might.
They're twins, and they have a 104 for Liam and 104 points, and Marcus has 108 points in playing for Medicine Hat in the
And I think
WHL.
Liam's the one they all have higher rated on every board.
Yep. Yep. They do.
See, if I was to do it, I'd have to try to find a way to get them both,
Oh
like the
yeah.
Vancouver Canucks did with the
You,
Sedins, right?
you should call Nashville or St. Louis to try to get the
I'll call Taylor and see if she can pull some strings for me.
yes. So yeah, I'm interested to see if they are going to pan out and where they're going to be drafted because
I think they're going to be back end of the first round. Or one will be back end of the first round, one will be early second round. And it'll be interesting to see if somebody does the Vancouver thing and takes them both.
That'd be awesome.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not, it's a non-zero chance for me to do it. Like I'm going to try to find a way if I can do it. But it's hard to make trades like that on draft day, especially when we're running the show.
Oh, it's so hard. You're like, do it. Okay, I'm going to be entertaining. I'm going to say something smart right now. Oh, there's a trade.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a trade.
They just drafted the guy I want. Okay, who am I going to draft now?
Yeah. I mean, I would say last year for me, it worked to my advantage to not try to do anything stupid because I ended up getting players I wanted without having to do anything stupid.
Yeah.
But it's a lot going on. That being said, I'm going to talk to Matt Waters and see if he's because we had talked about him trying to run it last year.
Yeah.
But because there'd been an election in Canada and he works for the government, he couldn't work it. So I'm going to see if we can get him to do it this year, which would mean I would go down to Ottawa and probably to Matt's basement.
Okay.
And we'll try to have the three of us running it professionally.
Right now, oh no, I'll be back because we do it a week after, right?
I have been told by the bug that we are not to do it on the July 4th weekend anymore.
Because I have plans I cannot get out of on the 4th, July 4th.
So we would be doing it the 11th of July.
Okay, perfect for me because from the June 18th to July 4th, I would not be available.
Yeah. Even though the rules specifically say to be held the week after the draft, the NHL draft, we will be going 2 weeks after because we don't want the American people to give up fireworks.
Didn't we have
we'll be doing
July 1st before?
What's that?
Didn't we have a draft on July 1st before?
I know we had it on July 1st one year. That's the year I drafted Chikrin. Like it was,
but
it was because I was sitting in my basement on Canada Day waiting for my draft pick. But that's just we Canadians.
Steve,
we'd put off our wedding day for the NHL draft, yeah.
Steve, you cannot expect the Americans to put off doing a draft on the anniversary of the 51st state.
Yes.
So
I heard that Trump would rename us to the American state to the north.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Talk about sexual predator.
Yes. That nobody seems to remember. But, his name's only in the Epstein files a couple thousand times. So
Hey, I didn't check it, and I saw it on social media, so it could be wrong. It could be all made up. It could be BS. But I read that his name is in the Epstein files more often than Jesus is mentioned in the Bible.
probably.
Like, that is insane. If that's true, and he's still president,
They don't care.
it's insane.
They don't care. How many times is your name in the Epstein files, John?
Zero.
Wow. Same as me.
Guarantee you zero.
Although there's a non-zero chance that my last name will be in there, but only because it's an actual word. So
So
your last name probably isn't in there, Sean.
definitely not in there. Definitely not.
So yeah, there you go. We talked about politics.
Yes. Now that we start to talk politics, I think it's time for us to end
Wrap
the
it up.
show. Wrap it up.
Okay, but before we go, what are things that we're going to want to talk about over the next couple of weeks? We got the playoffs. We'll do a
Playoffs?
playoff show, a playoff prediction show.
Yes.
We'll do a awards like Vesna
Yes,
and
yeah.
Norris, and
Definitely awards.
we will do a mock draft at some point.
Yeah, we have to.
To hell with the people that complain that we do too much talk about the draft.
We haven't talked about the draft at all this year.
Well, we did. We talked about today. We talked about Xavier
Yes.
Villeneuve, but we haven't done a whole lot of talking about the draft.
And talking about the draft was not part of the show. You just brought it up, and we just jumped on.
Yeah, but to be fair to us, it is it is the one thing we love the most in the NHL. Like the day,
Yes.
short of Stanley Cup Finals,
Yes.
it's something we love to watch and interact with. So,
yes, it's and also remember that right now, okay, let's take a look at the standings in the DCHL just quickly.
I'm calling it up. Give me 1 second. There.
Right now, I would say besides Winnipeg, Toronto, San Jose, that are not in the playoffs, the other 16
there are 18 teams interested in what's going on.
16 teams.
14. Oh,
there's 16 teams that don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, but 2 teams that aren't in the playoffs would still be interested.
So
Toronto is still interested, and so is
the league.
Winnipeg.
Well, not this year because everybody, like half the guys not making the playoffs traded their picks.
Yeah.
But in a normal year, you would have half the league at this time of the year
still interested in the draft.
They're like, okay, I'm going to start doing my draft research.
I've started mine.
Because if you don't do your draft research, then you're going to end up drafting Nolan first overall.
Nolan Patrick,
first overall, ahead of
Nico Hischier,
Nico
Cale Makar,
and Miro Heiskanen. That's
Nolan Patrick, who's not playing. Now, you wouldn't have been able to predict the concussion history that he had, but he struggled early on. He struggled.
But he was still, the year that he got drafted, he did not play well. There was questions when the year
100%.
There was tons of questions.
Because he was first. He was the whole year was predicted to be first overall. So somewhat similar to Shane Wright.
Yeah.
And then Nico Hischier passed him. And people were still like, wait, what happened to Nolan Patrick? And he was not.
in
Was that
Pittsburgh.
Philly that drafted him in the NHL?
Yeah,
Yes, Philly gave up their first round pick when they drafted.
yeah.
Yes, very good, very good.
Good job, Meg.
Yes.
Josh, what do you think
Okay.
of that?
Yeah, Josh. I'm sure Josh and Mike and probably
Josh,
Mark as
Mike,
well.
Mark,
Uh,
anybody else?
yeah, Jake.
Jake.
I'm sure it's all horrible memories.
Yeah.
It's right up there with Tyler Boucher. Although Boucher's been playing better, I will say.
Boucher's been playing better. Right now, I'm just hoping that either they can trade him as a throw-in to get something, or that he ends up being a fourth line player, fourth line winger that he can bring some physicality.
Did you see the highlights of the Belleville Senators shootout game the other night?
No,
Who's the Sens goalie they sent down? He was the backup at the start of the year.
Levi Marilyn.
Levi Marilainen. He was awful when they sent him down. He struggled a little bit at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage people to watch the shootout, the overtime and shootout highlights. Marilainen was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, I mean, Dominic Hasek in his best day would be applauding Marilainen. Like, it was, I saw the highlights and he made unbelievable saves in overtime, one after another, to push it to a shootout. Like, and then he was amazing in the shootout. So, because Jean will know that I've said this, but I worried that the Senators blew him up when they kept him. Yeah, they broke him when they when Olmark was
He
not playing.
He struggled the first couple games, but I had told you that he had been playing really, really well.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the that shootout.
I think it was against the Pittsburgh team. The Pittsburgh Wilkes-Barre. Yeah. Scranton Wilkes-Barre or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But I watched, now it was just the Belleville YouTube highlights that I watched, but the highlights were just the sick how well he played. I encourage people to, if you're a Sens fan or you're a Levi Marilainen fan, watch it, because oh my god. Or a fan
of hockey.
Or a fan of hockey. Like, I actually do watch those highlights from the AHL games quite a bit. I'm a nerd.
I don't know if you noticed, the Islanders won, which sucks.
Did they win today?
Yeah, they won 1-0 against Columbus.
Well, it was a regulation. Like, that's really the key to me at this point. It's just everything has to be in regulation.
So,
because when Detroit lost last night in regulation, that was
huge.
Well, because they were tied in points, but let's look at this here. You know what's funny is I was watching on Rogers today, the Avalanche and the Capitals.
Yeah.
And then I had my tablet open on YouTube, and it's like, see the highlights of the Avalanche Capitals game. Like, what? I'm watching this game now. What the hell? Can't you just play games live for me, please? So, yeah, 1-0. Wow. In regulation, that's good. How does that affect the standings? That'll push them back in ahead of Columbus, right? No, Columbus. What? Oh, crap. Crap.
Yeah, they should be tied with Columbus now. For points.
Oh, but we got Columbus. Okay, that's actually good for us.
Yeah, they're tied with Columbus and ahead of Detroit.
Yeah, it's good for us because we're now 4 points behind with 2 games in hand.
Yeah, but I was hoping that they lose. If Columbus beat them and Ottawa wins tomorrow and beats Detroit on Tuesday, Ottawa had a shot to be in the top in the playoffs.
We still would be, because we'd be ahead of the Islanders.
we would be tied with the Islanders. The Islanders lost, or we'd be ahead
But
because
we
of
have the regulation win tiebreaker,
and
don't
less
we?
games played. Because I think the Islanders need to lose on Tuesday. Also, they're playing Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're playing Chicago Tuesday. So I was
Sweet.
hoping that,
Perfect.
but either way, Ottawa has to win tomorrow and win Tuesday.
Okay, c'est bon.
Okay.
So we'll see everybody back probably. I think next week, maybe. I don't know if there'd have to be something
Next week I
interesting.
have to see. I might have family over next week. So
Have them on the show. Okay, maybe I'll just have my new assistant general manager join us.
yes. Cute one.
Okay, so we'll see everybody when we're on next. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I'll
50
I'll
episodes.
let you know if it's if I should be able to, but I'm not sure. Just
Okay.
okay.
I'm happy to do draft prep right now. So
Okay.
got to get ready for my 5th round pick. There's
Does
18
anybody
picks around
accept
me.
Seattle for a 5th round pick?
I offered it to him for like $5 million. I figure how bad does he want it? Okay.